into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. 'Cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. 'Cause you called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave. I ran out of that grave.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Grace Students. I'm Anna.
And I'm Lexi.
We are so excited that you're here tonight. It is a little bittersweet though because it's our last night as seniors. Although we are sad, there has been so many great memories that have been made over the past few years. Like the time that we got to go to the senior retreat. We got to spend so much time connecting and just worshiping together.
Or that time on the Atlanta mission trip when we got to experience life change firsthand, experiencing different cultures, and even that time at my church camp location, we got to see 10 kids respond to the gospel.
Yeah.
And speaking of mission trips, coming up this summer, we have mission trip opportunities for all students 7th through 12th grade, including current graduating seniors. These trips for high school are going to include 2 identical trips to Philadelphia. Make sure you talk to your friends and family to find the trip date that works best for you.
Yes. And for our middle schoolers, we didn't forget about you. You'll get to go to Columbus, where you'll work hand in hand with Contrast Church, get to be a part of the difference and the life change that's happening down there, which will be awesome. Make sure you head to WorcesterGraceStudents.org, get signed up immediately so that you can get yourself on that trip.
And for current seniors, it's really bittersweet. After all, tonight is our last night at Grace Students, but do not despair,
No.
because coming up this summer, we have our new young adult Grace groups. They will be all summer, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. It will be an amazing opportunity
Yes,
to
it
get to
will.
know other students and young adults your age, like us. After all, we'll be there.
We will be there.
And if you're interested in that, we would love to see you guys there. There'll be worship nights too, meals provided. make sure you follow our new Grace Students Young Adult, or our new Grace Church Young Adult Instagram page that is at Grace Church YA.
Speaking of social media, make sure you get some time to pull out your phone tonight. Follow us. Our handle is at Grace Students. I hear there is a big announcement that's going to be coming, so you don't want to miss it. Make sure to give us a follow. But for now, let's go ahead and we'll turn it back over to the band for a couple more songs.
worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours. you do it again.
Life is all about the steps you take. Sometimes they're small steps. The first time you meet a new friend, the last day of class, or when your crush finally messages you back. Sometimes they're big steps. Moving to a new school, your first day of freshman year, or watching your graduation. You might not even see it, but every step along the journey, God is inviting you to a life of purpose, a life of meaning, a life of community. He wants you to experience the full life.
Well, what's up, Grace students? Can we get up for these guys doing the heavy lifting here? Yeah, I think. Way to go. Man, welcome everyone here. If you're watching online, man, we're glad that you are doing that today. It is an awesome night to be at Grace Students. Right here near the end of the school year. Is anyone excited for school year to be over? Like, anyone just can't wait for this whole thing to be over? Man, we like to wrap up the school year with an event that kicks off a season called summer. And I'm ready to tell you all about it, but instead of me telling you, I thought we'd just show you a video that sums it up. So why don't you check out this video about summer kickoff.
Now this is a story. Are you ready? Yes. Hey, pop it.
Remember the tiny alien?
Whatever. Hi there. Soccer ball.
Watching Disney.
Summer kickoff is coming, and you can just call this like the Billy Starkey edition because it's a 90s night. I'm a child of the 90s. I cannot wait to go back to my childhood. Does anyone here own any clothes that you'd consider like this is retro, like 90s? Okay, you're already ready. If you don't, you're gonna want to hit up your local Goodwill and get some good stuff to wear. Summer kickoff is May 30th. It's in two Sundays. And it's 5 to 8. We added 30 minutes on the front end, 30 minutes on the back end. And this is the most amazing opportunity for you to invite a friend to come to church, because here's what we've got going on. You've already heard it's a 90s night. So we're going to give some advice. Sean Snyder, who is an incredibly fashionable man, has put together in the coming weeks some advice on how to dress 90s. It's going to be incredible. Lots of bright colors. That's just a good place to start. And really chunky tennis shoes. That's a great place to start. We've got a 90s theme, but here's what's really going on that's going to be amazing. We have rented an entire skate rink that will be here in the building at Grace Students. So when you show up at summer kickoff in our Student Center gym, it's going to be set up as an entire skate rink. And so if you like to go to Skateland, Acres of Fun, whatever else, we're doing all of that, but we're bringing it right back here. There's going to be giveaways, tons of fun, great worship, an awesome message. And I think we're even giving away fanny packs that are full of all kinds of stuff to every first-time student and the friend who brings them. And so if you want that, you bring a friend, come to summer kickoff, don't miss out on that. And so here's what we want you to do. I would love if you pulled out your phone right now. If you're in grades 7 through 11, because seniors, we're gonna get to it, I know. If you're in grades 7 through 11, or even if you're senior, you can spread the word. Get your phone out. On our Instagram, it's at Grace Students. We just put up a post about summer kickoff, and here's what we'd love for you to do. Go find that if you have Instagram, like it, and then comment on it, tag a friend, tag 2 friends, tag 5 friends, and then share it to your story. Like, share, comment, help us spread the word. You can do that right now. Go ahead and do it wherever you're at. And while you're doing that, let me tell you about tonight. Tonight is what we call our senior send-off. In other words, in other years, it has been called Hug a Senior Night. Like, make sure you hug a senior, maybe in like COVID-19 times, like it's almost June 2nd, but not. Maybe give them a high five, whatever you're comfortable with, they're comfortable with. Make sure tonight you show appreciation and love to a senior, because this is really sad. But tonight is the last night at Grace Students for our senior class. We love our seniors. We're so proud of them and Jesus in them. We have huge expectations for what God's going to do next in their life. But all good things come to an end. They've got even better things ahead of them. So tonight's the last night. So I wonder if we could just do this. I might have asked you another year to run up and find a senior, give them a high five. But let's just do this. Everyone else in the room, can we just give a massive round of applause to the senior class? You guys are awesome. We love you. You're amazing. And seniors, you've heard about this, but even though summer kickoff, you'll already be graduated out by the time that happens, we haven't forgotten about you. You've heard about young adults. It's coming up. If you're in middle school or high school right now, you might not know this. But when you graduate from Grace Students, we have a young adult ministry that's amazing. It's Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. Seniors would love to see you there this week. We've got this Thursday night worship, a message, and then family dinner. Every worship night for young adults, we do family dinner together, and this week it's Salsa Roja. So free tacos for all the seniors and all of our young adults. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Young adults, you know, you can follow us. It's on the screen. It's Grace Church YA. You can follow us at Grace Church YA to get all the info. And so tonight, being our senior send-off, we just had a gathering with seniors and their families, and some of their families are still here. If you're near the front, look back behind you and just wave to the families of seniors. Hello, welcome, thanks for coming. You guys are awesome. We just had a gathering for seniors, and so right now, this message has a little something for the seniors, and a little something for the 7th graders, and a little something for everybody in between, and even the leaders, and even myself. And so we are kicking off a series today called Full Life. Look at someone next to you and say, Full Life. Now, if you're experiencing the full life, I think you'd say it with a little more vigor than that. So look at someone next to you and with some passion, say, full life. Full life. We say here that Grace Students exist to invite you to the full life that God has for you. And that comes from a passage, John 10:10. I love this. It's the words of Jesus. He says this. He says, the thief, the enemy, comes to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come that they, that's you, may have life and have it to the full. That word full is this word, in the Greek it's zoe. It means abundant. It means not just full, but overflowing. Like it's the best life ever. You've got to know, middle schoolers in the back of the room, the middle school boys back there, that even when I said that, you didn't even look up. There we go, I got you. The middle school boys back there, God has an amazing life for you. God has purpose for your life. There's a reason you're here. Seniors, there's a reason that you're here. Every single one. You might have never heard this before. You were created on purpose, with purpose, for a purpose. You're not an accident. And God has an incredibly full life for you if you would just choose to follow him. And so in this series, Full Life, here's what we're going to do. Tonight, we're going to talk about the full life for you. And next week, we're going to talk about the full life for others. The full life for you and the full life for others. And so if you're taking notes, if you're not taking notes, maybe pull out something to write with. Pull out your phone, your notes app, get it out. I want to share a little bit, and then I'm going to invite some friends to share with me from this idea. The full life God has for you is ahead of you. The full life that God has for you is actually ahead of you. This is really good news, because what it means is that your best days are not behind you. And God's plans for your life are not already over. And God is not done with you. The full life God has for you is actually ahead of you. And here's the amazing truth along with that, is that if you would choose to just follow Jesus, no matter what the costs are, if you choose to follow Jesus, no matter what the circumstances are, you would experience the full life God has for you. It doesn't matter if life right now is really hard, it's not going the way you want. It doesn't matter if life's going really well and it's amazing. You think, I don't know how this could get any better. The full life God has for you is actually ahead of you. There was a follower of Jesus. His name was Paul. And we're going to read what he wrote in Philippians chapter 3. You can open up to there. Paul was this amazing religious guy. Like he was the most knowledgeable person you could ever think of when it came to God. He was studied in every way. He was learned. He had all the details down right. He followed all the rules to the T, this guy Paul. But he was missing one thing. He had it all right, but he didn't know Jesus. And so he was really, really religious. And how many of you know you can show up to church, you can be really religious, but not actually know Jesus? And so he was really religious, but he didn't know Jesus. So he had all these accolades. He could have said, man, I'm the smartest. I'm the most brilliant. He might have said, I'm the best looking. I don't know if he would. No one knows what he looks like. But maybe he would have said that. He could have said anything and everything. He was the best of the best. Best of the best. And in this passage, Philippians 3, he lists out really all these achievements and accolades, all these amazing things he had accomplished. But at one point he said, you know what? It's not about what's behind me, but it's actually about what's ahead of me. And so he paints this picture, and I'd love for you to get some vision for your life. That your best days are not behind you, but God has an incredible life in store for you. And so he sort of paints this picture, and maybe you do the same thing if you just imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you were just completely, wholeheartedly following Jesus, and God was doing amazing things in you, and God was doing amazing things through you, and he paints this picture, and then he says this in verse 12, Philippians 3, verse 12. He says, not that I have already obtained all of this. He's talking about that vision of the future. Here's what I want God to do through me. Maybe the vision you have for your life about what God can do through you. He says, I haven't already obtained it all, nor have I been made perfect, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me. He said, brothers, sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, don't miss this, from the back of the room to the front of the room, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Paul understood that it wasn't about what was behind him, even the amazing things he had done, all of his accolades and accomplishments. It wasn't about what was behind him. It was about what God could do through him. And so he said, you know what? I'm forgetting what's behind me, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I am straining, pushing, I'm aggressively moving forward to what God has called me toward, and he even calls it a prize. I'm moving forward to win the prize. Some of you are in track, right? You're in track, you're running, you're going around the track, someone else is in front of you, you see the finish line. Imagine that feeling if you knew, I've got one last burst of energy, I've got that last 10% of energy. If I just push through, I might be able to win the race, I might be able to win the prize. This is what he's talking about spiritually. I'm going to strain, push to what God has called me for. And so today, whether you are a middle schooler, moving up to high school for the first time next year, whether you're a sophomore about to be an upperclassman, whether you're a senior about to graduate, whether you're a leader wherever you are in life or a parent in the room, the full life God has for you is ahead of you. And if you would just choose to push forward, say, Jesus, I'm giving you everything I've got, you would experience the best life that he has for you. And so in a moment, I want to invite some friends to come out and share from their experience, because it's senior night. We have a couple seniors that are going to share. But let me just say this before we get into that, because I want to make sure this isn't missed. I know in a room this size, and even though we're at church right now, that not every person who is in this room maybe has made the decision to follow Jesus for yourself. And so what I want you to know on the front end here is that if you don't know Jesus, you don't got anything. You're missing out on everything. And so for some of you tonight, your very next step isn't going to be maybe anything that we talk about. Your next step is going to be to start a relationship with Jesus. To realize that there's a God that loves you so much that he sent his son, Jesus, to die for you so you could have a relationship with him. And along with that relationship, experience this full, abundant, incredible life he has for you. And here's what you really got to know. If you're someone that's got a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets, a lot of shame, it's not about what's behind you, it's about what's ahead of you. Jesus wants to forgive you. He wants to make you clean. He wants to give you a fresh start in life. So before we hear from these incredible seniors, I just want to say, if tonight's your night and you're realizing, you know what, I want to experience this, but I don't know Jesus, here's the easiest thing to do. All around the room, if you're a Grace Students leader, just lift up your hand. Grace Students leaders, lift up your hand. Look around next to you if that's you. Look at someone that's got their hand up. That's one of our leaders. And I just want to encourage you before you leave tonight to talk to a leader and say, hey, I need to give my life to Jesus. And we're going to celebrate with you. We're going to encourage you. So for all of us, the full life God has for us is ahead of us. And rather than you hearing from me, I thought, why not hear from some seniors who've got some awesome wisdom for us? And so let's give them a welcome as they come out one at a time. Got some awesome seniors. Number one, I shouldn't say number one. It's not like they're ranked. But the first panelist we've got tonight is Tamer Walton from Northwestern High School. Give it up for Tamer. Come on. Next, we've got Sherry Ritchie from Triway High School. Come on. Woo! Yeah. Next, also from Triway High School, we've got Kai Bresson. And last but not least, also from Triway High School, I didn't even think about that, we've got the one, the only Nicholas Muro! I feel like I could be an announcer in another life. So I love the chance for all of us to hear and listen in from some seniors, because you guys are the ones that are in the midst of it. You just wrapped up, or you're really close to wrapping up senior year of high school. And so here's what I want to encourage everyone to do. To lean in. Don't miss out on what you could learn and hear. If you're on your phone and you're not taking notes, honest to goodness, if you're on your phone and you're not taking notes, put it in your pocket, turn it off. Don't miss out on hearing some wisdom from some people who have gone ahead of you. If someone next to you is your friend and they're on your phone, just give them a little elbow and be like, come on, guys, let's lock in, let's lean in. I want to learn from you guys, and I want to hear from you, but let's just learn a little bit more about you. I gave your names and your schools, but why don't you share who you are and what are you doing next? What comes next after high school graduation? You go in whatever order you want.
All right, well, I guess I'll go first. I'm Nick Muro. I'm a senior at Triway High School. And after this summer, I'll be going to Liberty University down in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I'm going to be a biblical studies major. And I want to be a youth pastor someday, kind of like what Billy's doing. So
Awesome. Very cool.
My name is Kai Bresson. I'm going to Wayne College next year. I'm going to major in marketing, but after that, it's still undecided.
Hello, my name is Sherry Ritchie. I'm going to Liberty University. I'm going to minor in exercise science and then major in chiropractic care.
My name is Tamer Walton. I went to Northwestern High School. I'm going to go to Grove City College in the fall to major in early childhood education.
Very nice. All right, so I came up with 4 questions I thought were going to be really important for all of us to hear and learn from, and I think whether we're a middle schooler or a high schooler or in between, there's something we can gain here. So we say that Grace students exist to invite you to the full life God has for you. So I'm just wondering if you could share a little bit about your experience in Grace Students. How has Grace Students helped you experience the full life God has for you? Anyone can go first.
I would say Grace Students has helped me live my full life because it's given me my Grace group, and that's something I've never had before, is a group of friends that are striving for the same goal as me, which is to live like Jesus, and that's just helped me a lot to be able to hang out with them a couple times a week and feed off of their love for Jesus.
I feel like you're making eye contact with them too, right there. It's very powerful moment. Lots of good vibes going on right there between the guys. Not romantic at all. Sherry, go ahead.
Okay, I would say Grace groups definitely. They've really encouraged me to lock in on my spiritual gifts, which to me is I narrowed down to leadership and serving. And I've always went to church, but having a Grace group has really let me dive deeper into the Word, which is something that I've never experienced.
yeah, I would say Grace Students has definitely helped me grow in my faith when I go on mission trips. I've been on a couple mission trips throughout middle school and high school, and I think getting plugged in and serving around here is awesome. If you aren't plugged in and serving, that is definitely something you should do. Talk to your leader or any one of us on stage and we'll get you plugged in. But when you're serving outside of Wayne County, in Atlanta or in Philadelphia or even Cleveland or Columbus, the whole atmosphere is a lot different, and it pushes you and it helps you grow in ways that you never could have thought or seen it before. There's also a little promo to sign up for Philly or Columbus if you haven't already this summer. So
good call. I like it. Tamer?
Like what everybody else said, definitely groups. It's provided me with a community where I can be vulnerable, and it's helped me to not only challenge myself, but to actively challenge others in their faith.
Awesome. That's great. So for any of us sitting out here, it's important that we've got a group, right? And there's probably a difference between just going to a group and kind of just messing around and then eventually getting to a point and going, you know what? I want to grow closer to Jesus. I want my friends to grow closer to Jesus. Let's really lock into this thing called a group. And I think I've seen all of you guys do that. And I love Nick talking about mission trips. If you have not signed up for a trip, but you're considering it, even if you're just considering it, talk to your leader or talk to me. I'd love to kind of process that with you. Let's have some fun here. Next question. What was your most fun or funniest moment from your time in Grace Students? I think for a couple of these, we've got a picture, which is a little concerning, but anyone can go first. Your most fun or your funniest moment from your time in Grace Students?
Okay, so we went on this senior retreat. It was super fun, and we went in, we have this like dining hall area, and one night, I think it was like the last night, Becker Maynard and I were just like talking upstairs, and then we looked at the time, we're like, oh, it's 2 a.m., we probably should leave. And we're thinking the dining room is like totally, like no one's in there, it's 2 a.m., like why is everyone up? And then we come downstairs and we just see Arthur Cochran and Anna Rubino like deep cleaning the dining hall, just like randomly. Like I'm not talking about like just picking trash up, I mean like checking underneath the couches, like making sure everything's clean. And it was 2 a.m., like go to bed.
A 2 a.m. cleaning crew. All right, I like it. I like it.
I'd say for me, last summer, our group really hung out a lot more than we usually did the years before, and really grew closer in our in our friendships and our bonds. And there was one night when we were playing basketball in the pool, right? So we're getting some shots up and stuff, and then we decided to step out of the pool for a little while, and we were just vibing. We were singing some songs, and we had like the big swaying circle back and forth. And my mom actually happened to get a video of us all just hanging out together, and we put it on TikTok, and we ended up getting like TikTok famous. Like we got like a couple million views, if I'm not mistaken. Even if we got this one like famous TikTok guy to like look at our video, and that just made it explode even more. But yeah, that was pretty sick.
Wow, the power of the boys.
That's right.
When the boys are unified, amazing things can happen. All right, who wants to go next?
Mine was the Halloween costume contest that we had here. All the other groups had somewhat normal costumes, but we decided that we would dress up as middle-aged dads. There it is back there.
So like me.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
all
are
right.
inspiration, Billy.
Middle-aged dad. Now, I think there's an argument to be made that's a little 90s too. So if you need some inspiration for 90s night, this could be the move right here. All right, Kai, what do you got?
All right, so this was also at the senior retreat, and Tegan Patterson decided to prank everyone while we were sleeping. So no, it wasn't Tegan, he was asleep. We went down to where we all ate food. We got like 30 bananas. We came to where we were all sleeping, and we were putting them on everyone's like beds, and there's no reason for it, but then we tried to get Billy, and we were walking into his room. As soon as the door just cracked open, he's like, "What's up?" And it's like 3 in the morning, and he's just like automatically knowing we're there somehow. But we also, as you can see up here, we hit Bryce Westover the hardest. We put like 20 bananas on him, and he then took those bananas the next morning down to the lunchroom, and everyone ate them for breakfast. So you got a little Bryce with your banana that morning.
I was gonna say, yeah, they definitely picked up some essence, I would say, over the night.
Made them taste better, yeah.
I would say to anyone who ever considers pranking me on a mission trip, be warned.
It's impossible.
This is not my first rodeo, and I sleep with one eye open, okay? I've been harassed, harangued, I've been saran wrapped to a bed, and never again So if you go on a mission trip this summer, this is not happening. Don't play with me, okay? I don't mess around. All right, let's move on. I'm really excited about hearing from you guys on this. This last year, I think we all would agree, just like nod your head if you agree, this last year has been challenging, right? This has been a challenging year. It's not been an easy year really for anyone, and especially for seniors. Your senior year is completely turned upside down. Things are different. It affected sports, school, lunches. You had to sit alone and everything like that. So this has been a really challenging year. What has God been teaching you? And I love this question because I want us all to realize that in the good and in the bad, God is always working. And if we're listening, if we're paying attention, God teaches some valuable lessons even in the dips, the low moments of our lives. And so what would you guys say? What has God been teaching you in this last year?
I'd say throughout this past year and even season, God's been just blessing me so much. And when I finally opened my eyes to see how thankful and how blessed I am, it really just opened my heart up to God even more than it already was. And I got a lot of things put into perspective. You know, with COVID, there's been a lot of stuff taken away, like, you know, some school dances and sports and stuff. But I think he's been teaching me just to be thankful for what I do have and find the happiness in that and the blessing in that and be just content with whatever I have and his love for me, really.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Who else?
God has been teaching me to not hesitate to reach out. I tend to bottle things in and try and deal with it myself, but God's really been helping me realize that it's okay to ask for help when you're struggling. I never would have been led to get baptized for a second time if I had not reached out to my leaders. I am very thankful for that through this past year.
Cool.
God's been teaching me patience this past year as things have been like shut down and stuff. A lot of opportunities have been taken away, and so I've been just trying to force like a lot of things that weren't meant to be yet, like job opportunities and things like that. I just realized that God had a lot of things to teach me, and during the waiting, I've gained a lot of wisdom and understanding, and just truly appreciating that, like in the silence, God will give you like peace and rest in there. And without those things, I don't feel like I would have been able to handle some of the things that I was forcing. So in Hebrews 10:35-36, it says, "So do not throw away this confident trust in the Lord. Remember the great reward it brings you. Patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do God's will. And then you will receive all the things he has promised."
That's awesome. Man, that's really good. I think about the idea of like how even when you're waiting and things aren't going well, you can still worship in the waiting. A lot of times we maybe whine in the waiting. Why isn't it going my way? But there's something about saying, you know what? This hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to worship God anyways. That's really good advice. Sherry?
So what God has been teaching me is that he is going to give you what you need, but not really what you want. And it's kind of a hard one for me to learn. I have a little story, but so I'm not like musically talented or like a genius. I love sports, and that's what I do, and that's why I feel like one of the gifts that God has given me, and that's what I show people his love through my sport. And everyone knows that last year COVID canceled spring sports, so I do track, so that means track got canceled. And I was okay with that because I was a junior. I still had my senior year. So I trained really hard for this season, and before the season came, I asked God if he could just give a new challenge to me, like make this season different than every other season. And he answered it, but not the way I was expecting. I was expecting like him to physically challenge me. I had my goal set high this year. I really wanted to beat the 400-meter record for Triway and go to state, but he had a different plan. So the first race came on March 27th. I was running the 4x2, and I'm the last leg. I got the baton. I was running like 100 meters, and then my hamstring popped, and everything kind of like just came crashing down. I thought it'd get better because it didn't tear, but it just didn't get better. I know it's gonna crack. Hold on. I sort of like felt like a failure. Like I thought this was gonna be like the way I show people His love, like through my sport, and yeah, it's one of those things I really had to learn that if I did not believe in a good God, if I did not believe that God's goodness, like that He's such a good God, I would be so mad. And as you can tell, like I'm sad. It's a sad thing. Poor Nicholas over here had to deal with a lot of sadness, but
it's all worth it, guys. Don't worry. She made it through.
But I just had so a loving family and loving friends that kept me going. My one friend gave me this verse in James 2-4. It said, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete and not lacking in anything." I believe that God answered my prayer in the beginning of the season perfectly. He gave me a testimony, not one that I was expecting, but one that I needed, and He believed in me that I could handle this. And I didn't think in the beginning of the season that I would be as thankful as I am right now, but He's going to give you what you need and not what you want.
That's really good. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I want to go to one last question, and I think this will be really good. I'd love for you guys to give a word of advice to the rest of us. So this is the last question. A word of advice to the underclassmen, and so we'll phrase it this way. So as advice, finish this sentence. If I could do middle school and high school all over again, I wouldn't wait to blank. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't wait to blank. And here's the thing: if you're not up to speed or not getting it, they don't have a chance to do something in high school again. That's sort of the part of graduating. You guys are moving on. You got a lot of chances in front of you, but not any left in middle school and high school. But you guys do. And so we've got some seniors heading out, giving some advice to you as you're in middle school and high school that could change your trajectory moving forward. So I'd love to learn from you guys. If you could do middle school and high school all over again, what wouldn't you wait to do? Who wants to go first?
I wouldn't wait to be more outgoing. When I came back last year after a couple years of being away, I was very intimidated to put myself out there, but Grace Students is really a safe place where you can be yourself, and I would not wait to just put yourself out there and make friends and make memories.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait to serve. We talked a little bit about mission trips earlier, and that's definitely a way to serve, and you should serve that way. But I think getting plugged in here locally at Grace Church with the kids ministry, the First Impressions team, even the worship band if I had to redo it over again, I would have gotten plugged in immediately. I can remember when I was in middle school and when I was in even like my freshman and sophomore year, there's a guy named Jeremy Lunn, and he would come after me like every Sunday night saying like, "Hey, like I know you're in choir and I've heard you sing before, you should audition for the band." And every time I would just be like, "Yeah, that sounds cool, I'll give it a try sometime." And I just kept putting it off, and I'm so thankful for his invitation because it ended up working on me. And even though I don't sing on the worship band, I'm able to, God has blessed me with the gift of percussion and drumming, and I love playing music, but most importantly, I love serving God with the music that I play. And if you have a musical talent, we'd love to get you plugged in with the band here, or even if you have a knack for kids or just working with people, please don't wait to serve. We'd love to have you on any of our teams, and we're always looking for volunteers. There's never going to be an excess amount of volunteers that we're going to have. We always want to bring in more people. Great. Sherry?
Yeah, serving is super important. I'm on the tech team, and that's like so much fun. And something else that I would encourage is get in a Grace group. I know I say that all the time, but I think I came here, it was either freshman or sophomore year is when I came, and went to youth group and I did not go in a grace group my first year. I would show up to the service and then I'll just leave after, and that was a huge difference from where I am now. I was definitely not like close to my faith as I am now. It's kind of unbelievable the difference that you make. It doesn't seem like it. It's like, oh, it's just, talking to a few different people in a room, but it's actually life-changing, and they have helped me through so much right now.
Awesome. Kai, take us home.
All right, so my advice would be to just be yourself. Our grace group, I feel like we have so many different personalities, and just they're completely different people, but without each person, it just wouldn't be the same. I mean, I think each person contributes in their own perfect way by being themselves, and I feel like if it's easy to try and be someone else in middle and high school. You see someone else and compare, and you want to try to be like them, but it's just not the same. I mean, you have your own unique contribution to your school and your church that you're going to miss out on relationships, friendships, and opportunities if you're just trying to be like someone else. You just won't live your full life.
That's great. So if I was going to sum this up, be the person God has created you to be. Don't wait to get connected and to reach out. And even if you're struggling to reach out as well, hey, I need to talk to someone, and don't wait to get involved. There's amazing ways you can serve. There's amazing things you have to offer. And so again, wrapping this whole thing up, the full life God has for you isn't in your past, it's ahead of you. And if you choose to live out some of the things these guys have talked about, you're going to experience more and more of who God created you to be. Thank you, guys. Can we give it up for these guys for sharing, for doing an awesome job? To close us out, this is what we usually do on our senior send-off night. We've got a video celebrating all of our seniors. So before we head to groups, here's what we're going to do. We're going to show this video, and seniors, when you see yourself on the video, why don't you can go ahead and come up on stage, because as a group, as a ministry, we want to pray for you, and then we want to get a group photo too while everyone's here. And so we're going to roll that video, get a chance to pray for you guys and celebrate you, and then we're all going to head to groups. And so let's roll this video. Let's cheer on our seniors as we see them too. Yeah, give it up for our seniors. Woo! Yeah, we'll keep scooching on down. Awesome. Man, it's awesome class here. I'm like I hope this is sturdy. This seems sturdy. All right, so quick message to you guys. We just had our time down in the gathering. We just want to say on behalf of all of Grace students, we love you guys a ton. I love you guys. It's been awesome to watch your class. Some of you from 7th grade all the way to high school. Some of you came along later on. Some of you hope that I don't have pictures of you in 7th grade. It's like that would be really, really bad. It's been amazing to watch you. There's a verse that really defines a lot of what we do here at Grace Students. It's 1 Thessalonians 2:8, and it says this. It says, "So we cared for you. We loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well." It's not just about us teaching people about God. It's about us following Jesus together. And we hope you felt that. Hope you felt that, especially from your group leaders, who are amazing as well. And so what you got to know is that you have left now behind a legacy for Grace students. And what you have built, your ceiling is now the floor that we as a ministry get to build on top of. We're better because of what you've contributed. And now for those of us who are 7th grade through juniors, we get the chance to build on top of that and see God do even more. And so we're celebrating you. And here's our challenge to you. Go do more for Jesus. Don't just stay Christian in college. Go change your campus. Go change your workforce. Go live for Jesus with everything you've got. I love the chance for us to pray for our seniors. So here's what we're going to do. Wherever you're at, why don't you go ahead and stand up? Why don't you go stand up? And I'm going to pray out loud for our seniors, but would love for you to just, in your own seat, prayers, just talking to God. And so let's ask God to bless this class and encourage them. I'll pray. God, thank you for these seniors. Thanks for what God has done through them. Thanks for the ways that you have used them to see others experience life change. Thanks for the community that's built here, for the groups, for the friendships. Man, it's so amazing for me to see. Thanks for the group leaders who invested so much. God, together as a ministry, we commit to praying for them, for encouraging them, because they're heading on to what's next, but you're not done with them. You've got more planned. The best is yet to come. And so, God, help them as they move forward to just follow you with everything they have. We pray it all.